Hello everyone. Before we start today's video, if you could all do me a solid and lightly tap the like button, perhaps share the video about and leave a comment. If you are not subscribed, subscribe as well. It would greatly help this channel. Thank you very much. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Subdates 221223.2. On the 23rd day of Moistmas, my whole crew gave to me an IOU for the remaining 2 days as the NPC crew's budget ran out. As currency is non-existent on my ship, I am a smidge confused. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter, or Twat. With that in mind, let's start with Ezra Miller. You will have known from the exhibition of stupid people that Henry Cavill is out as Superman. Fantastic news, I'm sure everyone is celebrating this. No, just Peter Safran and James Gunn then, who are rebooting the entire DCU. Others who are potentially out include Gal Gadot, that one's confirmed, possibly Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry, aka the Aquaman. Another though is Ezra Miller, but we've not heard any news on this. Over 200 million has been spent making The Flash, but the future, fate and situation concerning The Flash is unknown. Why am I mentioning this here? Because Ezra Miller was trending. Ezra Miller was trending because, unlike Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot, two who actually were quite good in their roles if we ignore the second Wonder Woman movie and of course Dawn of Justice, have been confirmed to be removed. Ezra Miller and Amber Heard have not been confirmed at all. Since the idea is to reboot the entire thing, I assume they intend to use Flashpoint. But if you still intend to use Ezra Miller, you've already started your reboot off on a bad foot. Additionally, if you're going to do a reboot anyway, what's the point with the Flash movie at this point? You may as well just recast everyone and move on. And I have some recommendations for each individual role. For the role of Superman, Elliot Page. For the role of Wonder Woman, Henry Cavill. For the role of Batman, I recommend you hire a Pikachu. For the role of The Flash, can we get Haile Gebrselassie out of retirement? For the role of Cyborg, Tess Holliday. And for Aquaman, I'm going to recommend you reanimate Macho Man Randy Savage. The cream always rises to the top after all. Now, from what we know so far is that the cameo appearances of Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill have been cut from the Flash movie. This is where everyone has inferred that Ezra Miller remains as the Flash and that the Flash movie is still going to happen, even with a reboot. Either that, or the movie is going to be the final nail in the previous iterations of the DCU coffin, so they can remake it into something better. And while we're here, we may as well mention it. Controversy surrounding Henry Cavill, minimal. Gal Gadot, minimal, but she's very devoted to her home country, which causes a lot of discontent. Let's go with that. Controversy surrounding Jason Momoa, minimal. Ben Affleck, minimal. And Ray Fisher, beyond his complaints about Joss Whedon, all of which were legitimate complaints, minimal. Ezra Miller though, rap sheet. Quite long, criminal charges as well. Now let's look at who's left and who's staying. Interesting. Very interesting. I assume DC want to push with something akin to that of the MCU, which seems to be favouring an MCU, so it would be a DCU as well. How's that? I am so glad I don't watch superhero movies anymore. This stuff is exhausting. So while we're in the ballpark of things that were trending, Woke Mind Virus was not one I thought I would see. As you can see on the right side of the screen, there it is. The reason for this one is because of Elon Musk, the supreme overlord of the People's Democratic Republic of the United Federated States of Twitter Trash, where he had tweeted on the 12th of December, "The woke mind virus is either defeated or nothing else matters." I know, we're a bit late to the game based on when this video is released. I had to hold on to it because more stuff unfolded since. What's amusing is some people had tried to have a go at him with this idea of woke mind virus. The reason it even exists as a concept is because at the point of when this was tweeted, many bot accounts were being removed. The entire idea of Twitter being just one echo chamber was also being addressed, which has led to many saying, All I see now on my timeline are far-right commentary types. I don't even follow them. Ah, so you have an echo chamber as well. Good to know. I just follow people that fascinate me. And boobs. If you've got those, chances are I follow you. I am English after all, and we English are renowned for our love of fascinating people. If there's a Lady Dimitrescu, I'll follow her as well, for 2 massive reasons. Her intellect, of course, and her passion for her job. Later on, Elon Musk had also replied to Scott Kelly. Scott Kelly had retweeted Elon Musk, who tweeted, "My pronouns are prosecute and Fauci." Now, there are many arguments concerning Fauci, concerning the coof and other issues. Yes, I'm not getting into that. It gets very political and very polarizing. Although I won't deny, I'd love to have a figurine of this hero because it's hilarious how much this person is championed. Scott Kelly had retweeted Elon Musk by saying, "Elon, please don't mock and promote hate towards already marginalized and at risk of violence members of the LGBTQ+ community. They are real people with real feelings. Furthermore, Dr. Fauci is a dedicated public servant whose sole motivation was saving lives. Elon Musk, I strongly disagree. Forcing your pronouns upon others when they didn't ask and implicitly ostracizing those who don't is neither good nor kind to anyone. As for Fauci, he lied to Congress and funded gain-of-function research that killed millions of people. Not awesome in my opinion." Robbie Starbuck, "The tide is turning against the wokeness fire emoji." Elon Musk, "Many battles remain, but yes, the tide is starting to turn on the mortal threat to civilization that is the woke mind virus." There is a lot in the way of debate concerning the Twitter files. This is where a lot has come to light, and oh boy, the storm it has caused. This is a part of that as well. You can certainly add to it anything concerning Hunter Biden. I, on YouTube, have to tread carefully, because if I speak about things they consider contested fact or not corroborated by the CDC or the WHO, I could get into trouble, and that sucks. It really does. Discussion about all subjects should be open and free, yet for some peculiar reason, even if I mark something as entertainment, and I am questioning the validity of something, if it isn't backed up by the ADL, it's somehow not fact, and therefore I am liable for a strike. That is the state of affairs on YouTube at present. This concept of woke mind virus also is used as a way of indicating that many bot accounts that support those who push this woke ideology, as it is often referenced, would get purged. Because I think that was the point of being verified with a blue check mark as well, to try and weed out these issues. That's not to say that all the decisions made by Twitter so far have been good. Let's not forget here, Elon had recently announced the intention to also remove one's ability to link to Linktree or to other sites. Now there was more to it than that, I know, and I think also it was intended as a way of trying to get more people to try Twitter Blue, because if you're removing the ads then it seemed like an idea. I got it. It was poorly implemented, but I do believe we can all agree no idea is going to be perfect on the face of it, and mistakes will be made. If you really do believe everything's going to work instantly with a snap of a finger, or a tentacle in my case, you're deluded, and chances are you're seeking to find issue to confirm your own bias. Have a bit of patience and stop being so reactionary. So next I think we all need a palate cleanser and some audience participation. Courtesy of Joe Miller, which game? Included is an image of a ridiculous looking burger. It also includes 10 out of 10 for a number of criteria for a video game. 10 out of 10 for storyline, characters, action, animation, voice acting, music, and openings. For me, there can only be one. Text only, Gremlins 2, the new batch on the Amstrad CPC 464 tape cassette video game. Yes, it's a thing, and yes, you should all play it. If you have a better option, do let me know down below. If you're lacking in creativity or knowledge of gaming, just write Final Fantasy. It's what all the good stands do. Moving on from that, I saw this via Sithy Claus, who had retweeted Southern Homo. Oh no. They had tweeted, "Y'all gotta stop." An image of miracle rice, plant-based rice, as opposed to regular rice that is renowned for being full fat and made of beef, pork, lamb, goose, duck, chicken, turkey, and everyone's favourite budgie. Now I know I'm being a dick. Miracle rice is basically less carbs, which if you're on keto is a fantastic idea, a good replacement because it packs your stomach out but there's nothing in it, because there's only so much iceberg lettuce you can eat, or cucumber, depending on how you're putting it in your mouth. I just want to poke at this for a second because Sithy's right. What will they ever think of next? I assume Miracle Rice will eventually branch out and do Miracle Cucumber, plant-based cucumber, perhaps some plant-based seeds, as opposed to the other seeds which are used to make baby animals. And my favourite plant-based of all things ever, a plant-based TARDIS. To move on from that, I'd like to reference a random block of the week that isn't a block that I'm the victim of. No. This is someone who is the epitome of toxic femininity. I prefer to call Botoxic femininity because it makes me laugh, well, a bit more than it should, to be honest. Eve Barlow. The anti-Semitism is strong here because Eve Barlow was blocked by the Women's March. I wonder if the Women's March are trying to protect themselves a little better by not fraternizing, associating, hooking up, linking up with those that could in any way further damage the reputation of theirs that's been damaged plenty by the likes that they championed and have since had to pay $1 million to Johnny Depp. Noggin joggin, almonds are, well, they're moving. Do have a good think on that. Next, Gamergate, because apparently this message still has to ongo. It's a saga that will never end. It's quite sad at this point that when you know you're a one-trick pony, you still can't keep gamers out of your mouth. I'm speaking of Anita, I'm not going to say her last name, we're going to keep this simple, who said, "Now I would be so effing happy to never talk about Gamergate or online harassment ever again. Yet, she is paid to speak on many issues. She gives speeches. She is paid for this. She built up a brand, an empire, a business. Granted, her YouTube channel is dead. Well and truly dead. Death Noodle's dead. Okay? They had their heyday, never delivered on their promises, and the content was below standard. Debunked very easily by the likes of Thunderfoot. So when someone like Anita says she wants to keep Gamergate out of her mouth and never speak about online harassment ever again, everyone else is hard-Xing to doubt, because she needs it to pay her rent, to make her friends, to get by. Again, a one-dimensional, one-trick pony who only has that. My friend Sith is quite right when he says, "I'm only going to say this once. Don't interact with Anita in any way. Don't give her more fodder, and especially don't make videos on her." Bit late here, hi. Just let the era of Anita be gone and done with. Now, I agree with the sentiment. However, I do think, even if you ignore her, she'll carry on. She will keep going. Again, the issue really isn't that we're giving her attention, it's that she will create attention. She is a manipulator, and someone that feeds off that manipulation. She has done for a long time. Even with her career being in its twilight, she still finds ways of regaining some semblance of relevancy to push the message and increase the speaking engagements. Don't forget, last year, Feminist Frequency, the YouTube channel she created, received a Peabody Award. Means nothing, especially when, if you're me, your first thought is, wasn't Peabody the guy in 1955 trying to breed pine trees in Back to the Future? As there will undoubtedly be a second This Week at Twitter this week on this channel. I'm going to finish with Black Adam trending. We started with DC, let's end with DC. In the instance of Black Adam trending, it was for a number of reasons. The first was that Dwayne Johnson had confirmed via his own Twitter that his movie, Black Adam, aka the Dr. Fate and Hawkeye buddy cop movie, made between $52 and $72 million in profit. He then went on to compare it with that of the first Captain America movie, the first Avenger. Not the greatest of takes, and one does have to wonder why he had done this in the first place. It didn't need to be known, we knew the movie wasn't going to make too much money. Even with his star power, it's going to be limited. Obviously it is. No one gives a fuck about Black Adam. No offense intended here, the only thing people cared about that movie was the Superman cameo. Although I do think Pierce Brosnan was a good Dr. Fate. Now, with the announcement of certain people not coming back to DC, in the form of Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot, and because of Peter Safran and James Gunn's intention to take DC Studios in a different direction, The Rock is not best impressed. And it was believed that Dwayne had burnt the bridges with Warner Brothers by unfollowing both Warner Brothers and the Black Adam movie's Instagram accounts. Something which he on Twitter had said, 100% not true, I never followed either account on Instagram. That tweet though did spark a back and forth, a short one, between Brandon Davis and Dwayne, where Brandon Davis said, "Sorry to share then, went ahead and deleted to avoid any confusion or spread of it then," with Dwayne Johnson saying, "Insanely toxic time and culture," which many believes is an implying of toxic culture at DC Studios. I personally thought he was referring to Twitter, social media, as a whole, that is, because no doubt he saw the replies to his initial tweet humble bragging about the profit margin. And to be honest, I think he should brag about it. I didn't think the movie would make that much money. Marvel have cornered the market, and DC are desperately trying to use characters that are a bit too obscure. That said, if you want to cast The Rock as the Flash, I'm all for seeing that, especially as he might have to lose some of that totally legit, never ever touched a ped muscle mass. See you tomorrow for part 2, I guess, folks.